Another evening session here. Hold on a sec. Just I'm distracted by something. Hold on. I'll be right there. I laugh because I shouldn't be doing this while streaming. I'm looking at my Marvel Snap, all of the changeover things, the card of the week. Okay, I don't know what that means. Oh, spider. Oh. Okay. All right. So anyway, I'm closing it now. I'm undistracting myself. Okay. So, put my phone over here. Keep it out of the way. All right. Back to it. I got to start working on my back end here for my application. What I was going to do quick is one more quick little video edit, display edit. Here I have it saying, I have it showing the yard line now, which is pretty helpful. But there is a point at which I don't want it to say that, and that's the final. I think I want it to change to the word final. So ball on yard line is going to change. So I go here, and I just need to know. Let's go. Let's take this and put it up here. And so we set it in advance, and then we're going to say if time and quarter is less than 0, I think I had a problem with this value. I have to go less than or equal to, because my thing was breaking when I hit 0 because I wasn't capturing 0. And so I was like, if we hit exactly like second quarter or exactly the end of third quarter, like 0, 0, 0 at the end of third quarter, it would not hit. So yeah, that was a problem. Game quarters equals to time and quarters less than or equal to 0. Current quarter is 4, and current game status is team one total is tie. Okay. If current quarter equals game quarters and current quarter not equal to 5, time and quarter blah blah blah, else, okay, this is what I want. Time and quarter equals 0, and we're going to say ball on yard line is going to change. Ball on yard line equals final. Or game over. Game over or final? I guess let's go with final. I could always change it later, but it's a minor thing, but still, it's one of those things you kind of have to. I don't know if that'll take effect or not because I changed it in mid-change or mid-swing, but we'll see. Okay, so hopefully when the game's over, it'll say final here. If not, I'll have to update that. Does look like the OPP, which is opponent, the P part is not. I could put it capitals, which will put it on the. Yeah, I also have to calculate this to adjust the football in its width. So like when they're moving, I go by the tip of the football. So I got to take like half the width of the football, whatever the football width is, which I haven't determined how that's going to be figured out. Probably the same way I have to figure out the width of my image, which ESLint complains about because I have to use an image tag in order to read the size of the image, which is, not great. I was trying to at one point just read the size of the what do you call it? The size of the container of the image, but that wasn't working. I don't know why. But anyhow, all right. So I have to go. Whoops. Change my screen a little bit here. Get my chat going. So I haven't streamed all day because I had to work on my Indiegogo campaign and some other items. I had to go door dashing, which was fun. Made $12 an hour. I only worked like an hour and a half though. So that was interesting. Boy, Uber Eats is terrible. Their driver payments are like almost always less than $1 per delivery, $1 per mile per delivery. So yeah, it's really bad. I mean, I usually set a bare minimum. I used to do $2 per delivery, $2 per mile. But that was because they were running bonuses, and I would always set that. But and I would get deliveries. This was during COVID, of course. You were getting lots and lots of deliveries. But then COVID kind of came to an end. They had too many drivers. Now they don't ever add bonuses at all. So I'm lucky if I could, but I still only take orders that are $1.50 per mile. So keep that in mind. And I don't even go that high. Some people go higher. Some people will do $2 or even $2.50. But if they're regular dashers, it's easier to get, the good deliveries. I'm not being offered that because I'm not a regular dasher. But keep in mind, if you're trying to get into the food delivery service, unless you're going to go full time and do it all the time, expect to get really bad wages. And having two going at once, Uber and DoorDash at the same time, will keep you busy at least. Money will keep coming in. It's just not good money. Ugh. All right, let's go work on my Go. Let's go. Go, Gadget, go. Let's open up my lessons. My teacher, this guy who's, it's not my favorite teacher. So I was having an issue because I have my main here. Let's see if I need this. It's possible I don't need it, but it's also possible I will. I don't know why is it still showing here. Oops. No required module package GitHub. All right. Getting code actions from Go configure. Okay, it fixed itself. All right, so it's building right now, so I guess I can go try this terminal thing. Let's go see what this does. I don't know. Go run. Oops. Go. Nope, maybe not. Hello. Oh, do I still have this 8080 thing running? Holy moly, how do I stop that? That was weird. I don't know the correct way to stop the service, but CD gateway go run dot gateway. Oh, what else? He was still typing it.
Now we need to do like so. So as you can see, the .env loading is working.
So he just ran it with a period? No Go files listed. Oops. Common and Go expected package found EOF. Bummer. What's the problem? His started. That's not fair. Why did his start? Starting HTTP service. Let's see. Common M Go expected package found EOF. So we're in gateway.
Now let me just revert this back to 8080, like so. All right, so what we're gonna do, yeah, it's picked up the 3000, so it didn't write the file, because when you run it from the root, it's checking for the .env here, and this is not how we're gonna run our projects. So let's go back to the gateway and then do this again here. Now we need to do like so. So as you,
that worked. Hamstring HTTR up. So I have env here. So it should have been 8080, but it didn't work. So it could be I'm missing that import, because that's the only thing I'm missing out of this. So I need to figure out why. What is this import thing he's doing?
actually we could come here and actually implement the reading of the environment variable.
Let's see, he's on the main.go in gateway. HTTP server mux handler.
Variables. So let me create here a .env file, and what you're going to use is this package called go.
How's he doing? Oh, he googled go.env. All right, he's googling it. Go. It can be used as a library for loading in env for your own daemons or as a bin. Alright, so which one is he using? Maybe that's just it. Maybe it's not that he has anymore.
Env, this is the de facto standards to use to load environment variables in Go. At least it's the one I see the most. You can do it like this, or I'm gonna do it like so.
If you're even lazier than that, you can just take advantage of the autoload package, which will read in.env on import. So he's doing this Joho go.env. I don't know what do I have here? Add your application file in the end project. Then in your Go app, you can do something like this. If you're even lazier than that, you can just take advantage of the autoload package, which will read in.env on import. So if I go copy and do like he did, missing import path. Oh, do I need this? Yeah, that doesn't work on mine. Alright, let's see if my buddy ChatGPT, we'll give Copilot a shot at this. Alright, why am I getting the error? Could not import github.com/Joho in this code. All right, Copilot. It looks like the error you're encountering might be package not being properly imported or recognized. Here are a few steps. Troubleshoot. Check Go module. Ensure that your Go module is properly set up. Install the package. Make sure you have installed the go.env package by running go get github. Oh, I need to actually install this? Maybe that's the problem. So you can't just have it. I don't remember him doing that, but he could have done it. What do I know? Oh, still didn't work. I'm in the gateway now. This time it's not showing an error for that value anymore. So that's not a problem. That's not the problem. commonenv.go. Did I miss something? Excuse me, on his env.go file? Golly.
The first is going to be the comments package. So we're going to create and initialize the comment package because this, so you can just consume this here if it's, and it returns .go, because we should have a way to get environment variables from our services as we saw here. It would be nice to have a function that would get this environment variable, and if it didn't exist, it would use a fallback value. So that is what we're going to do. So here's going to be inside the package common instead of being main, and then let's have a function called env_string. So this function is going to receive a key and a fallback. So the first thing you need to do is go to syscall. I think it's called get env. Here receives the.
Okay, so wait a minute. He's doing. All right, so I got package common, expected package found EOF. Okay, so wait a minute. PACKAGECOMMON. Import this. Okay, so why? Expected package found EOF. Wait, what? What am I doing wrong here? So package, common. We are looking at, he does this a lot, or he likes to go, he turns off his.
Oh, here. It would be nice to have a function that would get this environment variable, and if it didn't exist, it would use a fallback value. So that is what we're going to do. So here's going to be inside the package common instead of being main, and then let's have a function called env_string. So this function is going to receive a key and a fallback. So the first thing you need to do is go to syscall. I think it's called get env. Here receives the key, and it returns a value and a boolean in case if it's on or not. You can just consume
see
this
why mine
here.
is different.
If it is okay, we just return the value. Else we can return the fallback like so. Now to consume this, let's go back to our main here on the gateway, and let's do a common. You should have here the autocomplete. If not, you can just import it directly like this. And then I'm going to do is env_string. This is going to be the HTTP other, and then the fallback could be the.
All right, so expected package found EOF. Why is this doing that? I mean, package works on the other fields. How is package main? Oh, do I not have, do I need a common main?
Like so. And of course, now this needs to be a variable, not a constant. So let's just change that. And actually we could come env_string. The first
No,
is
it
going to
just
be
has
the
go
comments
mod.
package. So we're going
It
to
has
create and
common
initialize the comment
go
package
mod, and then it
because
has an
this
env.
is going to allow us to have reusable functions across all of the services, so we don't repeat ourselves. And then at the next video, I want to show you as well the hot reloading feature that we're going to implement. So we can have all of that boring stuff set up out of the gate, so we can start building fast. So the first thing is that I'm going to create here maybe env.go, because we should have a way to get environment variables from our services, as we saw here. It would be nice to have a function that would get this environment variable, and if it didn't exist, it
I'm not totally sure why we are getting this. Why? Common env.go expected package found end of file. Oh, wait, what? It went away? Well, maybe I never saved my file? That would be weird. If that's all it was, I'd be surprised. Oh my gosh, I just never saved it. It was in a state of unsaved. Windows firewalls blocks the features of gateway XE on public connection. Well, let's allow it. Okay. Do you want to allow public networks? Yes, allow. Yes, allow it. Okay, well, I think it works, but it's being blocked by stupid firewalls. You know, the only problem with Windows Defender is it doesn't have like a, hey, let's temporarily disable things. But I believe I can go in here and go to my firewall. And then I think I can go into my public. Public network. And then I want to allow privacy settings. Nope. And where to go? Allow an app through firewall. Is there a gateway.exe here? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Yeah, there it is, gateway. I don't know why it wants to go through public, but okay. You can allow communication with the app from any computer, including those. Okay. Gateway.exe. If you can choose which network types to add this app to. Okay, why is it not letting me do this? Change settings. Oh, here we go. There we go. Now let's see if that works. Well, it says it's running. Now, I'm not sure the exact way to close it, because I tried Control-C and it kind of blows up.
To use a fallback value. So that is what we're going to do. So here's going to be inside the package common instead of being main. And then let's have a, now this needs to be a variable, not a constant. So let's just change that. And actually we could come here and actually implement the reading of the environment variables. So let me create here a file. And what you're going to use is this package called go.env. This is the de facto standards to use to load environment variables in Go. At least it's the one I see the most. You can do it like this, or I'm going to do it like so, because let me just show you why. here we have our environment variables declared here, which are getting the environment variables. So we want to make sure that this package is loaded before the that function is called. So that is how we can do it. Then what I'm going to do is once we have this fallback 3000, and I'm going to create here on the variables gdp.other, and I'm going to
minus 3030 because my simulator is running on 3000.
The file is going to read the 8080 and not the 3000. Then I'm going to change this back. Now what we need to do, I think, is if I run this from the root, this is not going to work. Yeah, it's picked up the 3000, so it didn't write the file, because when you run this from the root, it's checking for the .env here, and this is not how we're going to run our projects. So let's go back to the gateway and then do this again here. Now we need to do like so. So as you can see, the .env loading is working. Now let me just revert this back.
So I got my env working.
80.
Man, I'm yawning a lot today.
Alright, so what we're going to do now is implement the hot reloading feature to our project. So what I'm going to do is use this package called air. So this is going to enable us, it's basically a CLI tool that's going to enable us to watch for changes in a file tree, and then it's going to hot reload whenever there's a change in the files that we are encoding.
Nice. How's that? Is that a thing? I go here and get an extension called air. Entity, air ops, airflow, AI robot.
As you can see here, the way that you install this, you need to install this on your system, depending on the system that you have. Basically, you need to install the CLI. I already have it installed, so I'm going to skip that. If you want to install, I'm going to leave the link below the video, or you can just search for Golang air in your
Golang air. Golang air. There's no Golang air.
Or browser, and you can get here.
Oh, in the browser. Okay. Golang air. Go apps. I like that. I like that a lot. Features, overwrite specify configuration arguments. If you want to config build command and run command, you can use like the following command without the config file. Installation via Go install. With Go 1.23 or higher, Go install github.com air versa. Okay, let's do that. Go install GitHub airverse air latest. So this is going to enable hot reload apparently. So that could come in handy. Hot reloading Go apps is going to be very, very, very useful, I hope. So whenever these files change, it's supposed to reload it. So we will see how that goes. All right, so now we're going back to where we were.
Basically, you can even run this in the Docker container, which is pretty nice. So let's copy this command here, the air init, and let's go back to the project. And here, let us go to the gateway, and I'm going to do the air inits. Which
okay, so we want to go back to my gateway. It's interesting, he doesn't ever show you how to shut this stuff off. I don't know, I guess I'm just going to do this. And then air init. Yep, off we go, man.
Which is going to start and create this air.stoml. This is going to be...
Oh, it actually created it already? Huh.
The configuration files that we can define the configuration for the air hot reloading. So the default configuration, I think it's fine. We don't need to change anything here. So if we go back to the terminal and now run air instead, we can see that the project is running. And if we for some reason do any change here, so let's do log here, log.print, we just close the terminal, print ln hello. If we save this, you can see that the changes has been found. Basically, it found changes in this file, and then it's going to hot reload the server again. So if I just delete this again and save it, it's going to do the same thing. So this is going to speed up our development flow by a lot. So this is pretty much it for this module. I hope you guys are liking it so far, and you are excited.
It's okay,
on the
buddy.
next module, you're going to take on the gRPC configuration. We're going to explore the world of intra-service communication, and we're going to implement the gRPC transport into our two services. So let's go back to our diagram that we did on the previous modules. Basically, I want to show you quickly the difference between asynchronous communication. So we're going to implement synchronous communication first. This could be with HTTP, gRPC. We're going to use gRPC, and this is useful for cases where we want an immediate response from the request. So for example, here we have the gateway, and when the user requests for an order, so he's going to create an order or he's going to fetch one, basically we want to talk to the order service and get an immediate response here so that we can just respond to the user with the order, right? There is no need to send an event just to fetch an order or to create one. I mean, to create one there is, but it's only here because you see, we can create the order, we can store it, and the status is going to be pending, it needs payment. But after that, the order service is the one responsible for sending an asynchronous message to any other service that would like to do something with the order created. In this case, we have the payment service, which is going to start the payment flow. So for that flow here, the first one, the blue arrows, this is going to be gRPC, which is going to focus on this module right now. So why gRPC in the first place? Why don't we make all the server-to-server requests with JSON, for example, since we are so used to it? Now, the first reason that I chose gRPC is because it's more performant, so we can reduce the latency between the server-to-server communication, which it is important, and we're going to leverage that. And then another reason is a strongly typed contracts. Basically, with proto buffers, we're going to be able to have strongly typed contracts, meaning that we're going to use the commands package to have all the types there, generated code, and then we can just reuse across all of the services without having any inconsistency between them. And then, of course, protocol buffers are more efficient than JSON. This is binary format. JSON, we have to do the parsing, the encoding, and all of that, which is going to be more expensive to do. And then this is one of the best candidates for server-to-server communication. So we're going to use gRPC over JSON. However, we're going to have a JSON API, as we have already built, for the gateway to communicate between the browser or the clients in this case. So back in our code, let's first, let me first show you the protocol buffers.
I mean, I don't know anything about gRPC, so when he tells me it's using protocol buffers, which are better than JSON,
something different that I'm doing in the video, you can explore.
I know what JSON is, but I don't know what
just
gRPC.
type protocol buffers in your browser and you should come on this page. Basically, here we can define, for example, a message, which is like a Golang type, for example, and you can have the options here. This is what we're going to do. We're going to go here to the common. Let's create a folder called API. So API is going to
okay, so go over here to my common, new file, API.
Find the signature for our gRPC API. And in here, let's call an order management system.proto. And if you don't have this icon here, or if you don't have the language server, I think if you are on VS Code, all you need to do is just download the extension. Just write. Let me actually show you. I think this is the one that I'm using. It's the one that
VS Code Proto 3. Proto Buff 3 support for visual. Wow, I don't know what that is. Man. All right, well, let's go for it. Proto 3. VS Code Proto. Is there a Proto 3? Oh, is that this one? It is that one. Okay. Another package. It seems like when you do code in VS Code, you're like always installing packages. You're installing stuff like every other day. Install this, install that. This will work, that'll work. You're like, ugh.
I have installed and has a bunch of downloads, so I think this is the one to go.
2 million.
And after
downloads.
that, you have installed it, you should have syntax highlighting.
Okay, so go back here, and he's got API, new file, ohms proto, ohms.proto. Press star I to ask GitHub Copilot chat. Oh, yeah, that's right. I was told yesterday by, I think it was Nintendo 504 or Go Nintendo or something like that, that Copilot is helping him out a lot. So a lot of times he'll be doing something and something will just appear, and it's because Copilot's doing stuff for him. But I don't have Copilot running. We're talking about GitHub Copilot, not Windows Copilot, which are apparently two different animals. Microsoft Copilot. So I would love to try Copilot. I just don't have money.
Now, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to say that the syntax is going to be proto tree, and after this we should have the syntax highlighting now. And I'm going to say this is my Golang package, so we need to define this here as well. And then I'm going to also define here package called API. And then here let's start by defining our service. This is going to be the order service, so let's call order service. And then here are going to be RPC methods that you can communicate between services. So the first one is going to be the create order. And it's going to return something. And here we need to add the semicolon because that is how it's done. And here basically we need to add two types. If I save this, I get an error. Basically, we're going to go back and create a message as we saw here in the documentation.
This is supposed to be mine.
In this case, I'm going to call this get create. Actually, it's going to be create order request, for example. And then we're going to receive a string, which is going to be the customer ID.
That's probably wrong.
And then we should also receive, actually it's going to be a new message, so it's going to be a repeated. I'm going to call this items with quantity, and it's going to be called items, like so. So
let's go ahead and catch up here. Service. Now this is a coaching profile service. And RPC, create coaching profile, return message, create coaching profile request, string, user ID equals 1. I don't have such a user, but we're going to have to create one. Repeated items with quantity items equals, wow, that's not right. Items with quantity, that's not, I mean, create, okay, so what we're doing is we're passing in what this coaching profile is going to require. And so I do have a user ID. It's going to want to create this. It's going to associate to the user. So items with quantity is probably means there's just going to be multiple items here. He's creating 2 items. I don't know how that's going to work here, but so is this like another language?
This is going to be a new type, so I'm going to call this here message items with quantity, and it's going to have an item ID, which is going to be so
he's creating a thing up here. Message items with quantity. So it's like, what, 2 burgers? I mean, I don't know. String ID equals 1. Now, I can visualize what this is going to be in my code. I've got to break it down, like the coaching profile. What is it going to have? It's going to have a setting for various options. So I need to be able to have it associate the various things, like items with quantity. I'm trying to think how that would work for me, for my coaching profile. So I'm trying to map out my coaching profile, but I'm doing it in my head. So I've got all the conditions of the plays, right? Because the coaching profile is basically what are you going to do in every situation, right? All the options. So you might have, I could see a whole bunch of stuff in the coaching profile. So like I might have, this is going to be where the user would set up what they want to pass back, right? So what settings are going to be? I should probably map out my coaching profile. What do I want in it? Think it through, Ken. Think it through. Not just think it. You got to draw it. I'm laughing because I'm thinking I want to write on my computer. So if I go like this and this. Meet your new Surface Slim Pen 2. I didn't realize I hadn't met it. I thought I met you a long time ago. Now I can only do this on the tablet part of my. Oh, really? I gotta set it up? Which hand do you write with? The right. Yeah. Feel tactile signals while you ink. Okay. Ink here to test your tactile signal strength. Okay, well, hopefully that's done. Try inking these apps. Inking these apps. Got it. Okay, so now I need to open up my OneNote. Now, you unfortunately aren't going to be able to see this unless, well, no, let's share that screen, huh? Let's put that on my screen. Okay, so we're going to add, tablet display, surface screen display, okie dokie, and like that. And we'll make that a lot smaller because that was crazy big. Alright, so now I draw this by B down there. Oh. Then we go close this guy and we go down to my PFFM. We'll call it we'll go to this untitled page here. Whoa. That's not what I was trying to do. I just want to, there we go. Okay, so what I need to do is come up with a plan for my coaching profile. I'm going to have to adjust my situation here so I can get my hand in here. Probably like, this dude, terrible handwriting. Hey, look, man, this is a screen. It's not that easy to be. Oops. Sure. Okay, so what do I need? The coaching profile. Let's like make it a window because it's going to be kind of a screen. Now this is going to be my mock-up for the first attempt. I'm sure it'll get better and different over time. But the first things we're going to have so we're going to have situations. And situation is going to have like down and distance. Distance might be something like, so if we have first down and less than 5, and we have first down and 10, and we could have second down. So, but the question is this something you can set? Like you can create your own situations down in distance? So you could just say like add. So it might start off with a second in less than 5, and you might have a second in greater than 15, and then that's it for defaults. And then we have like an add button. So you can add other down and distances. So you get some to start. Then we'll have to have something like all right, so you could do something like play call, and then on play call could be something like, I like the idea of offering preferred play options, but for now we could say like run. So we'd have to be like, what, a drop down box maybe? And let's see, first option, second option, and then we'll have something like pass. Might be like, if it's less than 5, it might be run or short pass. Short pass. And then like if it's, so something like that. So we're having to provide the type. So it might be, this here would be play type. Because I don't want to use text. You don't store text. You have play types. And then here you have, now my situations, I can't have like a less than, it's not, there's not going to be a less than 5. It might be a description less than 5, but ultimately it's like down and distance 0 to 5 or something like that. Now distance just means first down, right? So to get a first down or a touchdown or whatever you're doing, you might have like down, first and 2 to go. You might go for a goal line run or something, even if it's not on the goal line. Or and sometimes people do different things based on I mean, you don't always run goal line D on the goal line, and you don't always run regular short yardage plays in the middle of the field. Sometimes you run them at the goal line. So it just depends on how short a distance you have, but you can always add more. So my thought is, a blank would be like, you got to pick what down you're going to be on, because you're only at first, second, third, or fourth, right? I mean, that's all it is. And then your distance will have to be like, I don't know what, minimum, min, max, no. I mean, it's going to be in ascending order. So if you have like a second and 15 or greater, but you put in a second or 20 and greater, then it's going to take the 20 or greater. It's going to go with the one that you're actually more than. So it'll be like or less than, I guess, in that sense. It depends on if it's saying greater or less than. Maybe you act on less than 15. But you still have to have a goal, like what happens when you're way back. When you have one of those bad situations where it's like second and 40 or something, get sacked a couple of times and you end up in Timbuktu. This has happened. I've seen guys, get some personal foul penalties, you get sacked. There's a fumble and you're running and the ball goes flying backwards. I mean, I've seen plays where it's like second and 80 something or other, because the ball goes rolling and they're chasing it down and everybody and their grandmother, but the team who had the ball ends up recovering it like on their own 2, after being on the 20 or something. It's like, no. So yeah. So what this could be is a bit that says greater than or less than. So we got play type, we got down, we've got every situation has a play type. It's got a down, it's got a distance, and I think it's always less than, because if you say greater than 15 and less than something, so I could go, yeah, we're going to have a condition. Is it greater? Like is greater than distance. Distance. We'll say true, false. And then this would be an int. This is an int. And this is an int. I'm only doing ints. You could do inches, but really, I'm not tracking inches. I'm doing yards. You either get the yard you need or you don't. I mean, I'm not gonna. Yes, in the game of football, it can be inches, but I don't want to deal with inches. That's way too complicated. What football game does inches? It's always yards. And still, they only record yards. Okay, so we got, now, technically, technically, I want to have another option on each of these that would be preferred play. So, so there should be like a preferred play option here. I didn't really map out my, what I should do is, I think is it, which one does this? Select? And then we'll move that over here. And then I'm going to erase this box. Oh, come on, really? Fine, we'll just go like that. Preferred play. Now, preferred play means really all this does is first option, second option, and preferred play. Preferred play, you might have a selection button, but that's not going to be the issue. It's going to be play ID, which would be preferred play. Preferred play. Actually, not preferred. Let's call it favored. I like favored. They're just ones you like more. I mean, they're not, you don't have to do them, but favored play. 1, 2, 3. So what this is going to be, so like if you have multiple plays, int, which is actually a play ID. So what this is going to be is if you have a number of plays, and in this situation you like these preferred plays. These are your favorite plays. You want them to, basically what it's going to do is it's going to increase the odds of those plays coming up, but they don't always pick those plays, but we'll tweak it. Like you might frequently get at least one of those plays always in your selection. So like if you are controlling your team, it can't give you all the plays in the playbook. I mean, it can give you a lot of them, but it's going to pick like what plays work best based on your logic. You want these, then these are your preferred plays, then here's some of your preferred plays. Or maybe if you can see all the plays when you're selecting plays, it'll give you those as your first 3. And maybe you're like, okay, these are my favorites, but maybe I get some other one. It just puts them on the front, makes them easy and quick. Maybe preferred plays work, then there's things like preferred plays. If they're different formations, there's actually substitutions. So if you're using a similar same set of your guys, you don't have to have substitutions, which are good because it makes your team get to go faster if there's no substituting. Faster you get on the field, the better, without hurry up, because hurry up offense is a different thing. I will do hurry ups. There will be hurry up offense in my game, but I'm not worried about that right now. So we're going to have preferred plays or favorite plays. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so anyway, this is what this is going to be. So we'll have favorite plays for all your situations. Now, that's probably the OC, because I think on defense, it would be the DC. DC might be something like, you could still have favorite plays. Maybe there is the same. You have situations, play call. Maybe this is OC and this is DC. Ah, did it again. This is what you get for doing things in one line. And DC is going to do the same thing, like you might have first and 10, first and less than 5, add. This probably have to do DC and OC on separate pages, but it doesn't matter. We're going to have all the options here. On my screen here, I'll deal with that later. We're going to have, you might have formations instead of plays. And then you have preferred plays. We're going to say formation. Which would be DC, OC. DC has same thing, play type, or play type, oh, down, distance, down and distance. We'll have down, distance, formation. And oh yeah, we have to have is greater than for them too. Is greater than. Will they have a play call? I think the DC only has formation and prefer and formation and I guess they could do pass or play call. So this would be play type also. Play type. Because they might pass, run defense, pass defense. So it is kind of the same. So it's play type and preferred play. So it's going to look the same, but they're going to have different types of stuff. Formation is a you got to tell them what kind of defense you want. I mean, I guess you can say run defense, pass defense, then use your preferred plays to decipher the formation. But here, I guess that makes sense. I guess I don't need to say formation. Defenses are often built around formations, but that could simply be your playbook design. So yeah, let's just say it is greater than play type and favored play. Favored play. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's kind of what I think my coaching profiles are going to be made up of. Now, if you don't set favored plays, it'll use generics. I mean, I'm going to start with generics anyway, because that's the game's going to use like a generic play. I'm creating basic run, basic pass plays for each offense and defense. I'll start creating more advanced ones later, but got to get the thing working first. Start adding more and more as time goes on. But so yeah, it's really just about thinking through what I want the coaching profile to have. I want people to be able to edit and adjust how the coaching profile is going to pick plays for their team. Now, additionally, I want to be able to. There are some other coaching profile types and decisions I want, like advanced. I don't know if it'll be advanced features, but you could do things like set your training schedules, what kind of practice, what kind of things you want your guys to focus on, or training focus, that kind of stuff, so that you're like, say you want your team to be better at passing, so you can train passing focus, and some of your receivers and your QB might get a little bit better, might get a little bit of momentum, and certain things can tweak and adjust how your players play. Now, keep in mind, I'm not going to do this thing where if you focus on passing, you're going to get like amazing pass results. if you have a terrible passing team with terrible quarterback and terrible receivers, you're probably only going to be you might not even notice. Hopefully your completion percentages go up, or you don't get sacked as often or something. But it's not going to I'm not going to have any situation where you can just throw something in and bam, your guys are super people at that type of thing. Because I don't want it to throw off the balance of what all of the statistical stuff is going to be, all of the player actual skill sets. These are like, I call them perks, minor tweaks that might give them some favorability during games. Small stuff, but it could be the difference between having, a win and a loss. Like maybe you get a completion when you might have otherwise not, kind of thing. Like minor adjustments that can turn in your favor. Usually that's what I'm thinking. There's going to be all these little I have a strategy on how I'm going to implement that. And things are, let's just say, it's good to train your guys in things, and they can potentially become, bonuses for them long term. But ultimately, it starts off as just like muscle memory, right? You do the same thing over and over and over again. You start to improve at it. Same goes with plays. By the way, there's going to be so many things in this game. You're going to be like, what? Does all this stuff, like your plays have to be mastered. If you get a brand new play and throw it in your playbook and call it your favorite play, your team may not do very well with it. Players have to master a play. In other words, you have to practice it. You can practice it in games. It counts. Every time the play is run, it's going to go towards the mastery of that play. But get this, every player has to get the mastery. Every player who's running the play. Now, granted, you may have guys that aren't going to be involved in the play, and they're just like, offensive lineman who just does his job, blocking, hopefully. But if you don't master it, there's going to be things that could go more wrong for you. If you get in that middle zone, once you've mastered a play, you can't get worse at it. If you're in the new phase of a play, you're bad. If you're in the middle phase, like you've learned the play, if you don't play it regularly, like you don't keep going at the play, it's not a regular thing, you could go back down into bad because it becomes unfamiliar, or you have to run it enough times to get to mastery. And mastery takes some time. So you can't be an expert of every play in your book. However, some plays will have difficulties. So like a difficult play is going to be harder to master. Whereas some plays are pretty basic and simple, and they're going to be easy to master. Your teams will master them quickly. And maybe you only have to run them a few times. You're like, we got this. But if you like trying to do a flea flicker double handoff bomb thing, you're going to have to work on that one a bunch. And even then, there's no guarantee. Those are pretty low percentage plays. But at least you have a better chance at it. So if you master it, they will come. But anyway, so that's kind of what my coaching profile's got to have. So now I've got an idea of what I need. I need to pass this information. None of these things have quantities. I mean, they have numbers, but not quantities. I'm not going to order two of it. There's not a need for two things of anything here. I'm not ordering quantities. So I don't know what it means by items with quantity, but I'm thinking like if you order 3 large cheeseburgers, and that might be for the sake of inventory management, but again, this isn't that. So he's got a user ID. I'm going to look at what his items with quantity is doing. Let's go ahead and watch that.
String, and then we could have the quantity, which could be an int 32. I'm going to call this quantity, and this should need to add here the create order requests.
So create coaching profile request.
And then let me also create the response.
All right, let's go create a response. Message, create coaching profile response. Message, create coaching profile response. Let's see if that's what it's called. Yeah, what do you know?
Response.
Except I can type that.
Actually, let's just return an order. I think it makes sense. And here, let's.
Wait, he deleted it. he undid what I just said. Coaching profile. Now you're going to do package API, which we already did.
Let's define the order. This is going to be a very important type. It is going to have an ID. The reason I'm making these ID strings is because they are going to be MongoDB IDs, which are going to be like those hashes, if you know what I mean.
String ID.
And then we have the customer ID as well. We could have a status. Then let's have a repeated items. It's going to be items. Now there is a difference between items with quantity and items, because the items, I want them to be, they're going to have these options here, but they're also going to have price.
Okay, so he's thinking through his burger company plan. And I don't even know, do I need a status? Do I need a status? Do I need a status? You know, ultimately, I think some of my other coaching features are going to be assigned to the coach, not to the coaching profile. And I might even have to change the name. Maybe it's not coaching profile, it's like game plan. Really, it's a game plan, right? I mean, that's what you're doing. This is your plan for the game. This is how we're going to execute the game. Oh, I'm wondering if I should just change it now. I'm thinking it's not a coaching profile. Because, okay, so here's the deal. The game's going to have coaches, like coach cards that have effects, have things of their own. And I think a coaching profile is more about Coaching profile is more about the success. I mean, the coach is doing, he determines the game plan, so it's his profile. But the problem is, the thought is, if you link a coaching profile and you have coaching cards and then you switch out coaching cards, does your coaching profile go with? My thought is no. I don't want people to have to edit this for every coach. If they have a coach card, my brain is running a mile a minute on how I want coaches. Since I'm planning it all out now, right? So I want my coaches to do what they do. But what do I want coaches to have an effect on? My original thought was coaches would have an effect on the game plan, right? Because they're going to come in with their own thoughts. Like some are like pass happy, some are defense oriented, blah blah blah. But do I want? Because if you're going to be able to customize your coaching profiles, do I? I'm thinking the coaching profile, perhaps it does assign to the coach card. And then if you were to switch out coaches, maybe you're asked if you want to start with the old coach's game plan. Or do you start fresh? See, it shouldn't be hard to switch coach. Well, it is kind of. I have a rule that says you can only switch like once during the season and not at all during the playoffs. So you're allowed to fire your coach once during the season. So you got to kind of pick your coach. And you can play in multiple leagues, and then each league could have its own coach. But you wouldn't be able to play in a league. You can't fire your coach more than once a season during the season. And then you can also fire him at the end of a season. You can't fire him at all during the postseason. So you can't like just change your game plans completely. I mean, you can, I suppose, but you got to change that coach's profile. So he kind of gets locked. He's not locked for the season unless you fire him and get a new coach. In which case you're basically resetting your coaching profile. But what I'm thinking is, I want coaches to have tendencies. I think when you have a coach, it'll tweak your game plan in the way that coach affects plays. So if he's a defensive heavy coach, he won't have any effect on your offensive game plan. But on the defensive side, he may make certain changes. Like maybe he tends to like certain formations, and he's going to call a lot more formations of that, a lot more of that type of formation play. Or maybe he likes blitzing, or maybe he's a cautious defense. He likes to play a lot of prevent and pass and zone coverages. Or on offense, he's a West Coast guy. He likes to throw a lot of long passes and kind of keep the ball in the air. But that's what I'm thinking. I want to try to build coaches around their tendencies, and then those tendencies affect the play calls in your game plan. Now, yes, you could have preferred plays or whatever, but it's going to change the odds. Basically, they're coming in with their own odds of calls. And so I think my coaching profiles, it just makes them make the game plans their own. And you can kind of look. And when you look at a coaching card or a coach, it'll tell you he's got offensive tendencies. These types of plays will be called more frequently. He's got these kind of tendencies, or he's got that kind. And he also comes with certain boons or abilities that he's going to bestow upon your team. So your game plan can have certain things going on. So like when you say your first option is second option, all that does is like say it becomes 60-40. And then you got the three, it's more like maybe 50-30. And then you got your three favored plays, which are going to be like 8, 7, and 6. As far as, of that last 20%, they're going to be in there. So you've got more chance. So basically, those plays become your highest percentage chance, 8%, 7%, 6% chance. Depends on how many plays are in your playbook, but it's going to offset everything. And they're all going to get a percentage set. And so when you got a coaching profile, a guy who runs balanced offenses, he might skew both your offense and passing to be a little closer to even. But if you've got a significant, like if you say your play call choices are run and short pass or run and long, whatever, you set whatever, it's going to skew them to be closer. It's not going to change it completely, but it's going to just slightly tweak in favor of the tendency of the coach that you put in. But I don't think that's going to have an effect here. So I am going to leave it as is. And my coaching profiles, which are actually going to be, I think your it's kind of like you're setting up the base of all your coaching profiles, and everybody else's tendencies will affect it. Yes. I think I'm set on that thought now. I've ironed it out in my head. Now I've got to implement. Now the question is, do I change my coaching profile to game plan? Is it, because it really is a game plan, but how do you set the game plan? You go into the coach. So maybe the coach has a couple of different pages. You got the coaching profile, and then you got your game plan. It might be a coaching menu, but under the menu of the coaching menu, you have the game plan and you have the coach and that kind of thing. So maybe I don't even have the coach's profile might actually be the tendencies of that coach. So, yep, I'm changing it. Oh, boy, that's going to be fun. Okay, so I got to do something here. Let's see, controls. We're going to find coaching profile. And we're going to replace it with game plan. So he's got some all capital. All right, let's go with there we go. There we go. Let's change all of them. Normally permitted. Failed to start HTTP service. Listen, HTTP bind only. One usage of socket. Oh, I didn't actually start it. I terminated my starting HTTP server. So yeah, it's probably going to be complaining about that. I should probably be. I don't know how to. Oh, it says starting HTTP server. It actually tried running it. Oh well, probably because I broke everything when I did that. Went ahead and changed all my code. Okay, so now we're on to that. We're going to change this thing now. Rename. Okay. So everything now should be game plan. Shouldn't be anything else. All right. File. Save all. Okay. We are now on to the game. Wait, I still have a coaching profile here. What? That's not supposed to be there? Oh, coach profile. Nothing like me. Nothing like having different spelling on things. Coach profile. Can do a replace and call that game plan as well. All right, so now everything should now be changed. we should now. Oops, nope. It's a control. I thought it was Control Shift S. What is it? Save all is Control KS. Oh god. Control K. No. Why did that do that? Control KS. Why is that? Control plus K S. It's supposed to be save all. Save all. Okay. Control. Oh, so Control K. So there's some conflicting conflicting functionality here. So Control K is a define key binding, and so I can't use Control KS. Why is this trying to tell me to use Control KS on my save all? Save as is Control Shift S. That's dumb. Is development. Control S is save. Control Shift S is save without formatting. I didn't even know there was such a thing. But there is no save all. Huh. File saves all files. It says Control KS right here. How do I type Control KS? Because I tried to do this and it said no. It took me to the key binding. I was like, no, it's not what I want, man. Stop taking me here. Control plus KS. Is it Control KS? I don't know. Okay, well, save all is not even necessary because it's not actually available at the moment. Probably because, all right, well, whatever. So let's go back to where I'm supposed to be. We're in almost proto, and we're doing this bit. GRPG setup. Okay, so, man, my hands smell like chlorine still. I swam this morning, and my skin still smells like chlorine. I took a shower, I scrubbed soap. Well, I did 2 soap. I soaped, and then I shaved, and then I soaped again, and I still have chlorine. Man, I cannot get that chlorine. I wonder if there's like a special soap for getting chlorine off. It takes like 2 days of showers to get the chlorine smell out of my skin. Okay, so the longer I swam too. I swam 1,600 meters today, so. All right, so back to it. So we are doing the definition of whatever our order is. In this case, it's game plan. We do need to know the user that the game plan is going to assign to. Now, this is just creating the game plan, but you only create a game plan once. I mean, I guess theoretically, every time you do it, you could delete and recreate. Which might be easier, to be honest. Just save what they say. But then you're just like, it's like dumping the data. You're better off just overwriting the data, right? So you just say update, set all of it. I mean, what's typically better? Overwriting, updating data, or just replacing it? I think updating is the norm. Is it faster, slower? I don't know. Only update change data. If you only update change data, it should be faster theoretically. I don't know, maybe, but you're never doing that many. So it's not like I'm doing bulk. I mean, I guess you could have 1,000 people update their coaching profiles. I don't know. If you've got a game that's been downloaded that many times and is being played, it's one thing to be downloaded 10 million times, but what did somebody say? There's only like Marvel Snap had at one time, 60,000 people were playing the game at once. Now it's down to like 10,000 or 6,000 or something at any one time. It's a good number of people, but it's not a lot of people, even though they've got like how many bajillions of downloads. It's kind of interesting that they even have that info, but I mean, think about it. That's a really popular, super. See, you got to have bots. My game will have bots. Don't worry. You'll have people to play against. Ideally, you'll have real people to play against, but out the door, it might take a while before my game becomes really popular, right? Because ultimately, I don't have the big budget advertising that Marvel Snap had. There's something on my key here. It's bugging me. I think these keys are replaceable. I really should try to look into replacing them because I really am bothered by the way these keys are laid out. Not their position, but the way the numbers are written. It's weird. Okay. You're like, dude, this guy cannot stay on task. Trust me, if I was to ever break these, I would clean these up, actually reload them. I'll delete all the Jabberwocky. Just do what I'm supposed to be doing. You'll be like, boy, he's really focused. It's like, no, just because I'm deleted all my blah, blah, blah. Okay, so now that I know everything that I want in here, the game plan, what is it made up of? We're going to have items with quantity. Probably don't have any of that. But I am curious how he's doing.
Like so. It's going to be price ID. Now the reason I'm just moving a little bit ahead here, because I know that we're going to use Stripe, and the way that we're going to implement is that we're going to have a string, which is going to be the price ID there. So we know we store that in our database. And we could also have a name for the item. I think it makes sense. Let me just add this one more. And then here we have items. Everything is good. This is returns.
This is returns. Oops, not returns. Returns. Okay, so I am just trying to decide. He's showing you what he wants to send back as his item, which is the order. The order is the item. So, create game plan. I don't know. Why did he change it to item? I don't know. But he's got his, it's in, okay, so we're in common, which is interesting. Maybe because there's other things that might call these. I don't know why we're doing this in common, to be honest. All right, so we got the message is the game plan, and what we want in the game plan is the ID, customer ID, status. Do I need a status? I don't think we need a status. Status is not a thing. But what we will need are my values. So let's go here. We're going to need to know the ID, which is the ID of the game plan, because every game plan is going to have an ID. But then there'll be a user ID, because that's how we associate it to any particular user. Then we'll have what the situation is, but that's really not. We're not going to store situation. That's just the terminology that's on the UI. So I mean, I guess theoretically it could be anything. I mean, we could call it down string distance. And I don't know that there's any advantage. Oh, it must be because he put those. I don't have them all in the same place. I don't know if there's any advantage to giving any of these IDs. I want like no distance. No, it's just an integer. I don't think this is going to be a numeric, because I mean we could have every situation in the book stored, but that would be dumb. I just let people create their own distance, their own game plan profiles, because I don't want to store that. We might have a situation table, which will have to be where they get that from. So like that could be maybe, items with quantity, maybe that's it. My situations could have quantities. That's my repeated item, because we're going to have multiple situations. So that would be my so what I should do is we have repeated. So he's got game plan service, items with quantity, which is probably under items, because I don't know where he went with that. But we're going to go message, and we're going to go do I want to call it game situation or down situation? I didn't even think about it, but there's more to consider here. I should call them game situations, because it just occurred to me that game situation, because there could be more. There could be more to this string ID, which is just going to be how they define it. I won't actually have it in there. Then we're going to have this is probably going to be an int 32. Could be even int 16 for that matter, because it's going to be small, because it's just the down equals 1 for now. And then we're going to have the distance is never going to be more than 100 either, because that could be pretty small too. So we can go quantity distance equals, we'll say 10. This is what they're going to do on 1st and 10. And then play type 1. Oh, that's going to be an int. And that's going to be a play type ID. So we're going to go do I want to have, is it a string? Because I'm going to have it be an ID. Because are they doing, he does do his IDs as strings for some reason. Huh. Equals 1. And then we'll say string play type 2 equals 2. And then we'll have string play type, let's go play type ID 1. Because we're going to store the play types. Every play will have a play type. It's a run-in, maybe it'll be a run outside, run inside, run left. It could be a run left, a run right, a run middle. It could be a deep pass, a short pass, a medium pass. It could be a screen pass. I don't like having run types of always be one direction or the other, but maybe, you could pick your preferred plays, like you run to the right a lot. Your favorite play is a run to the left for some reason, or you like going up the middle, or whatever it is. Those could be your preferred plays, or your favorite plays. Now, I wonder if it'd be good to have a favorite play just at each type, like one for first and one for second, for like whatever you're doing. Which play do you prefer in those situations? Rather than having three preferred plays, you have one for each type of play call. And then when it calls those kind of plays, it picks that one as a higher chance of being called. Could simplify it even farther, but that would be confusing. I was like saying you could just pick your favorite plays and then the play type would just come from the type of that play, but I don't know if I like that. I mean, I want to make it something that's intuitive, and if I just say, well, I always have this card, but it doesn't get called very often, it's because, well, it's 10% chance, but, you have 90 other plays. So it's like it could work. It could call any of the other plays too. A 10% is a 1 in 10 chance that play gets called out of all your plays, right? So, I mean, I don't know if that's the number I'm going to use. It could be more. Maybe I make it a 30% chance. It's 1 out of 3 chance. I don't know. If it gets called too often or not often enough, I mean, how often do you want to see the same play? And if you call it too often, defense is going to figure it out. Yes, I'm putting in logic that's going to have the defense go. If the same play keeps getting called, it's going to it's going to try to run defenses that are meant to deal with that whenever it sees. Now, I'm not going to have the defense cheat. It doesn't know the exact play. It just knows the play you've been running and what you've been doing. So it'll run a defensive formation, perhaps against your offensive formation. I know what they're doing. They typically go here, so maybe they swap out defensive players, or maybe they do something to try to minimize what you're doing on that side, to kind of optimize their response. That's my goal. That's some AI stuff going there, so I don't know. We'll have to see what I can work in there. Now, that's down the road. The intelligence of the defensive play calls will get better in time. At first, it's just straight line, get it running, and then we slowly start adding in AI bits. Now, I don't think it's going to actually be AI because I don't know enough about AI to know that it can actually do that. I don't know how smart AI can be. I would love to be able to do something like apply an AI to like the coach's profile or something, but I don't know enough to do that. I would love to figure it out though. Have the coach, build certain things in there and just have it start being smart enough to respond to what's happening without giving you information that, a coach wouldn't have. Then you're playing against smart computers. Anyway, so we're going to have a play type ID 1, play type ID 2, and I'm just trying to decide if I want to go by, make it simpler than that and just call it preferred plays, or have it favored plays. Favored plays would then kind of drive How about just nope, I think I'm going to stick with what I'm doing. I think I'm going to stick with the first option and second option for play types, Because really what we're trying to do is we're skewing your playbook to lean in one direction or the other. That's all it's doing. So by having your choices, you could potentially throw a long bomb on a first and 5 or whatever. But what I should have here, though, is a you know what? I'm going to do this. And then we're going to go. If I find my button on here, I can't find my button. My button's gone! All right, we're going to go like this. And move that puppy over here. And then we're going to go like this. And we're going to go. Push that over to here. And we're going to go time in quarter. Or time in half, sorry. Time in half. And we'll say greater than. Oh, you know what? Ah, there's more. And I got to consider all the considerations. Leading by. There you go. How about score difference? So this could be time in half. We could say 2 minutes. Greater than 2. Score difference negative. Score difference. See, boy. Score difference won't work. Let's go leading by. -3. Because I have to keep track. I mean, teams do different things based on their how much time is left in the half and what the score is, right? I mean, sometimes you don't care, but like at the end of the game, you're going to be like, do I run a lot? Do I pass a lot? What do I do? You know, I mean, and -3 means you're behind. Leading by -3. There you go. So that means we also have to have time, which is going to have to be stored in probably seconds, because it would be dumb to try to store it in minutes. I can always translate it. the only time you care about minutes and seconds is for display. People don't want to read seconds. But for the logic in the game, you could just deal with seconds. Time in half. And this will be an int. And then we have leading by. And that's an int as well. I mean, that could be an int 32 or whatever. It's still only a negative number. You're not going to be behind more than 100 points. If you're behind by more than 100 points, it could probably be an int 16 for all that matters. I mean, it doesn't. I mean, the odds are you're never going to. The odds are you're definitely never going to hit bigger numbers. But the odds are you probably don't need that space either. I'm not like running a multi-billion-dollar 10 bajillion. Well, I don't know. Maybe I am going to be storing so much data. This game is going to be storing so much data. Every little bit of space is important. So any number that's bigger than necessary, if I don't need to keep track of crazy, I mean, even the time in half, I don't think N16 is going to exceed that, because I think, what is 15 minutes times 10 is 150 times 6 is about 7,000 seconds, so it's like 2,000 seconds, is that right? 15 minutes, 15 times 10, 15 times 6 is 70, wait, no, 15 times 5 is 75, so it's 81, no, 15 times 6 is 90, jeez, 90, and then you got 15 times 10 is 150, so it's about 210, so it's about 440 seconds every quarter. Is that right? No, it's 220 seconds a quarter, 440 seconds a half. Is that right? So 60 seconds times 10 minutes is 600 seconds. And that's 900 seconds. Oh, it's 1,800 seconds a half. I don't know what I'm thinking. It's 1,800 seconds a half. So that's not very much. I mean, it's certainly not more than an int 16. So, yeah, I think all of my stuff is going to be tiny numbers. And I don't do fractions. I'm not doing inches or anything like that. So everything will be on whole numbers. So we're going to have... I'm going to have to finish this tomorrow. But I think ultimately, yeah, I think the goal here is to get my game situations are going to have play types. Let's go ahead and put in here the distance, and we're going to have an int 16 time remaining in half, because it's always going to be in half. The coach is going to have to decide. I mean, oh gosh, I hesitate, because do teams play the same at the end of the first half as they do at the end of the game? I think you take more risks at the end of the game, right? If you're down by 3 touchdowns in the first half, you don't panic. I mean, you're not happy. But you're probably not going to do stupid things like go for it on 4th and 2 on your own side of the field. Right? Because you're going like, okay, let's just get out of this half, try again next half. But you're not going to do dumb things. But at the end of the game, with only 2 minutes left and you're down by 3 touchdowns, you're going to be going for it on a lot of downs. So I should say time remaining in half and time remaining in game. Oh gosh. Because you're gonna behave differently. Hmm. Hmm. And what about overtime? How do you behave in overtime? If you are a coach, do you act differently in overtime or do you just play? I mean, really, you just play, right? You're just trying to move the ball to get a score. Do you take bigger risks? Maybe. I mean, you do really want to score, but you also can't be dumb. You don't want the other team to score. So you still just play, right? I think you just play. You try to play your best and hope your guys can get on the ball. Maybe you throw a couple of longer passes. But I don't know. I don't think you play different. I mean, you just hope you're the first team to score. Yeah. I'm just trying to decide if I need time remaining in half and game. Because you do play different at the end of the game. Yeah. I think I have to. Equals. I don't know. I think we should say minutes left. Hey, Mindful Goblin, you're messing with me, man. Thought somebody was there. I get it. I see how you are. All right, how about minutes left first half. Int 16. Min left. Game. Equals. I'm only going to go by min. I mean, your game plan, if you're down to 1 minute or 2 minutes, your game plan's going to be according to your minutes. You're not going to be going by seconds. Minutes left. Half. Equals, I don't know, we'll say 30. And we'll say 5. I don't know. I don't know. 5 minutes left in game. I think in a lot of cases you're not going to care about those values. You could just say, less than. You might just say a singular value if it's less than 2 or more than 2 or less than 5 or whatever. It could just be dependent on your state of score, which is the next thing, We're going to have an int 16 leading by equals 0. It's a tie game. For this case, for the purposes of my easy peasy play here. And my thought is you can have general play rules. So like if you don't put in any conditions, like you don't care about the minute left, you don't care about leading by, if none of those things have been made to make a decision, like you look it up and it's not there, like the coaching profile, it's going to have a default. So you're going to have a default line, like the first line doesn't care about any of that stuff. After that, you can start adding those things in. But the default line has to be like, what are you going to do if none of your conditions are met? And so those will be like -1s or something. And it just goes ahead and grabs the one that, whatever is your -1 options for things. If you've got a value in for anything that's under -5 and the other things are -1s, it'll just take that. So you're creating your defaults, or if it doesn't find anything that matches, then it'll just take your default because there isn't another option. So you have to decide which ones, you want to have in there. Like if you're leading, if you're down by 10 and you have a, 4th down or 3rd down, maybe you're only dealing with 4th downs. When do you go for it on 4th down? You don't care about 3rd downs and all that other stuff. You're just going to run your basic setup. You're not going to be that coach that tries all kinds of crazy stuff when they're down by a point. Okay, so we got time left, we got leading by, we got play type, we got favored play. Favored play. Now, I did say that these are all the possible things you're going to have multiples of, but favored play is a multiple also. Favored plays. And I'm going to say equals 3. I'm not totally sure how this part works because he just showed repeated items. Let's, is it repeated? And then that means I have to create another. We're going to go message, favorite plays, favorite play equals, and then we're going to go string play ID equals 1. String play. Do I need a name? It's not repeated, it's repeated. But you know what? I think I might be wrong. It's not really. So each item, so each play, it's kind of weird that he has a name, because wouldn't the ID, because you're going to feed the ID out. So unless, because it's a request, and they're doing an order request, and therefore they're getting the values to them as well. So it's reading both directions, because it's a response. So they request a thing, and then you send back a response. Maybe play name equals 2. There's a name 2. He's giving the name an ID. Ah, I hate that. Why is he giving the name a name? His item has a numeric name. I'm going like that. It's no price. I'm going to have this be called a play type also. Play type ID equals 1. String. Why doesn't it like my string? Maybe it doesn't do double quotes. Nope. Doesn't like that. So I can't. What's it telling me? I can't do a string. A string isn't a string. Apparently, strings aren't strings. Strings are something else. Weird. Okay. So we're not. So now we're no longer doing. We have a user ID, but then we're going to have repeated game situations equals. We'll say 2. We're just going to do 2 for now. I can always add more later. So my game plan has the situations, and we have the user ID and this and the ID of the game plan. But the game plan is going to be mapped to a bunch of game situations, which will be linked to. I think my game situations are going to have to store the game plan, though. They're going to have the game plan ID. Simply because they are specific to a game plan. We can have multiples of them, yes, but the game plan is going to store them. And unless I have, well, I guess I could have my game situations all have IDs and they're associated to the game plan. Game plan just goes and finds all the ones that are assigned to it. I guess that would be all right. This way the child item doesn't have to know anything about the parent. Yeah, I guess that works. So whenever we create a game situation, we have an ID, we assign it to the game plan. Game plan has the game situations. I still don't know how that's stored. So we're going to be getting to that, I guess. We're going to store those particular IDs, I guess. Unless those IDs are fixed, which is going to be a problem. Because my order will have all those IDs. But when we create it, we actually create new game situations with the game plan. So I may be doing some tweaks later to make this match up to how I'm doing it rather than his food company thing he's got going. But I think overall we're okay. I don't know why his is squiggly marked and mine isn't. I mean, I'm okay with it, but I don't know why his is doing that.
Items, it's in the singular, and I think we have everything that we need for.
Oh, here, even a game situation, but oh, all right. So it's game situation, and then it's game situations, because I'm repeating the game situation object. Okay.
For our first RPC method, the create order. So let's generate this into Go code. So here I'm at the gRPC documentation for Go on the quick start. If you want to reach here, just go.
A gRPC. Oh, so we got to do this thing. Crazy talk. Okay, that's my next step. I will be doing the gRPC next time on the great adventures of PFFM in React and Go. Till next time.